What would you do if the woman you loved, the woman you built a life with, was secretly dismantling it piece by piece right under your nose? I never thought I'd be the guy staring at a glowing phone screen at 2 a.m. My heart a cold, heavy stone in my chest, watching my wife's location move across a map of downtown Chicago. It wasn't her usual late-night work conference call. It was a hotel, the opulent, magnificent Mile Grand, a place we'd celebrated our 5th anniversary. But she wasn't there with me. The ping of a new message, a heart emoji from an unknown number, sealed my fate. My world, once a vibrant tapestry of shared dreams, was unraveling into a nightmare of deceit. The air in our bedroom, usually thick with the scent of her lavender perfume, now reeked of betrayal. I knew in that gut-wrenching moment that everything I believed was a lie, and my life was about to change forever. The humiliation hit me first, a tidal wave of shame that threatened to drown me. Sarah, my beautiful, ambitious wife, the woman I'd put through business school, the woman I'd supported through every career setback, was cheating. The signs, once invisible, now screamed at me. The late nights, the sudden obsession with her phone, the distant glances, the way she'd flinch if I touched her unexpectedly. I'd dismissed them as stress from her new executive role at Sterling & Finch, a high-powered marketing firm in the loop. I was a fool, a trusting, naive fool. Her behavior grew increasingly erratic. She'd snap at me for trivial things, then shower me with forced affection, a desperate attempt to mask her guilt. One evening, I found a receipt for a ridiculously expensive watch from a boutique on Oak Street, tucked deep in her purse. It wasn't for me. My birthday was months away. A few days later, a call came through on her phone while she was in the shower. The caller ID simply read, "David." I didn't answer. My hand trembled as I placed the phone back, the name burning into my mind. David, the name of her new boss. The one she'd mentioned a few times, always with a dismissive wave of her hand. The slow discovery was agonizing, like peeling off a bandage one hair at a time. I started checking her texts when she was asleep, a violation of trust I never thought myself capable of. The messages were sickeningly intimate, filled with pet names and plans for clandestine meetings. "Can't wait for our weekend getaway, my love," one read, followed by details of a flight to Miami. My blood ran cold. She'd told me she was going to a women in leadership retreat in Dallas. The lies were so elaborate, so brazen. Sarah became a master manipulator. She'd gaslight me, twisting my concerns into accusations of insecurity. "Are you seriously questioning my loyalty, Mark? After everything I do for us?" Her voice would drip with feigned hurt, her eyes wide and innocent. She made me feel like the villain for even suspecting. David, her affair partner, was a smug, arrogant man I'd met briefly at a company Christmas party. He'd looked at me with a condescending smirk, a silent challenge in his eyes. He felt untouchable, protected by his position and Sarah's complicity. I hit rock bottom. I'd sit in our living room, the city lights of Chicago twinkling outside, feeling utterly hollowed out. The man I was, the life I'd built, felt like a cruel joke. I lost weight, slept little, and the joy drained from my existence. But in that darkness, a cold, hard resolve began to form. I wasn't going to be a victim. I was going to fight back, not with anger, but with precision. Who provided irrefutable evidence? Photos of Sarah and David entering and leaving hotels, flight manifests, restaurant bills. I backed up her phone, copied her emails, and even installed a small, undetectable camera in her car. Every piece of evidence was stored securely, encrypted, and duplicated. I wasn't just collecting proof, I was building a case. A fortress of undeniable truth. Then came the day she dropped the bomb. I wanted a divorce, Mark. We were sitting in our minimalist high-rise condo overlooking Lake Michigan. Her voice was flat, devoid of emotion. "I'm not happy. I haven't been for a long time." She looked at me with an almost clinical detachment. I nodded slowly, my face a mask of feigned defeat. "Okay, Sarah, if that's what you want." Inside, a storm raged, but outwardly, I was calm, almost serene. She wanted a divorce. Fine. Let her file. Let her think she held all the cards. She filed the papers a week later. Her lawyer, a sharp-suited woman named Ms. Albright, was aggressive, demanding a significant portion of my assets, including the condo, my investment portfolio, and substantial alimony. Sarah had clearly forgotten one crucial detail: our prenuptial agreement, a document she'd signed willingly, almost eagerly, before we married, when my tech startup was just taking off and her career was still nascent. It stipulated that in the event of divorce, she would leave with only what she brought into the marriage, plus a modest settlement tied to the length of our union, not my current net worth. It also contained a morality clause, a standard inclusion for my family lawyer, which stated that infidelity would void any claims to shared assets beyond her initial contributions. She'd laughed it off at the time, calling it just a formality. I let her and her lawyer build their case, watching them with a detached amusement. They were so confident, so arrogant. They saw me as a broken man, easily exploited. I played the part perfectly, appearing distraught, overwhelmed, and compliant. I even agreed to mediation, letting them believe they were cornering me. The day of the final settlement hearing arrived. The courtroom in downtown Los Angeles, where the case had been moved due to Sarah's new job transfer, was sterile and quiet. Sarah sat across from me, radiating an air of triumph. David conspicuously absent. Miss Albright presented their demands, her voice echoing with self-assurance. When it was my turn, my lawyer, a quiet but formidable man named Mr. Henderson, simply placed a thick binder on the table. "Your Honor," he began, "we have some additional documentation to present." He handed copies to the judge, Ms. Albright, and Sarah. The first document was the prenup, highlighted and annotated. Sarah's face went pale. Ms. Albright snatched it, her eyes scanning the clauses, her composure visibly cracking. Then came the evidence: the photos, the texts, the flight manifests, the video from her car, each piece a hammer blow to Sarah's carefully constructed facade. The morality clause was read aloud, its implications devastating. Sarah's claims to my assets evaporated like smoke. The public exposure was swift and brutal. The news of the high-profile divorce, fueled by the undeniable evidence of her infidelity and the shocking prenup, spread like wildfire through her professional and social circles. Sterling and Finch, a company that prided itself on integrity, quietly let her go. Her reputation was in tatters. David, the smug affair partner, vanished, leaving her to face the fallout alone. He was, as I suspected, a coward. I saw Sarah one last time, months later, in a coffee shop in Santa Monica. She looked tired, her once vibrant blonde hair dull, her expensive clothes replaced by something nondescript. She didn't see me. She was alone, staring blankly out the window, a ghost of the woman I once loved, a shadow of the woman who had tried to destroy me. There was no anger left in me, just a profound, chilling emptiness. The silence of her ruin was the loudest sound I had ever heard. The end.